Good morning, good people. Now listen, I need y'all to really hear me today because we're talking about something serious. Your career path. And I know some of y'all sitting there like, man, I don't even know what I want to eat for lunch, let alone what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that's okay. See, the world got you thinking you're supposed to have it all figured out by 18, graduate college by 22, be rich by 25, and retire at 30. Let me tell you right now, that's a lie. Life don't work like that. Some of y'all are stressing because you feel stuck, like you took the wrong path. But let me tell you something. You're never stuck. You just stop moving. Your career is not a one-way street. It's a highway with exits, detours, and reroutes. Sometimes you got to hit that U-turn and try something new. Now, let's be real. Some of y'all out here chasing a career that ain't even yours. You're trying to be a lawyer because your mama said so, a doctor because your granddaddy dreamed it, or an engineer because, well, it pays good. But let me ask you, what do you want? See, life gives you clues. That thing you love to do, that thing that excites you, that you do for free if money wasn't an issue, that's a clue. Pay attention. You might start in one place and end up somewhere totally different, and that's all right. Oprah was a news anchor before she became Oprah. Tyler Perry was homeless before he became Tyler Perry. Colonel Sanders was frying chicken in his 60S before he became KFC. You ain't late. You're just in your season of preparation. So here's what I want you to do. Stop overthinking. Start exploring. Try things. Take that class. Start that side hustle. Shadow somebody in the field you're curious about. And most importantly, trust God's timing, not social media's timeline. You got a purpose. You got a gift. But you'll never find it standing still. Go out there and explore your career path with confidence, faith, and a little bit of courage, because your dream ain't going to chase itself. Now go get it. Your career is a journey, not a straight path. Be open to detours. When you think about the word career, what comes to mind? For many people, the image that pops up is a well-planned trajectory, an orderly progression from one job to the next, always moving up the ladder, always heading in the same direction. But let me be real with you. That is not how life works. Your career is not a straight line. It's a winding road with twists, turns, bumps, and unexpected detours. If you're looking for a smooth, uninterrupted ride, you're in for a surprise. I know what you're thinking, but I've been told my whole life to make a plan, stick to it, and follow through. And yes, there is value in setting goals and working hard to achieve them. But what I want you to understand is that life has a way of throwing curveballs at you. Plans get interrupted. Opportunities don't always show up when you expect them. You might even find yourself lost at a crossroads, unsure of which direction to go next. That's the nature of the journey. Some of you might be in a place right now where you feel stuck. You've been on the same path for a while, maybe even years, and it doesn't seem like anything's changing. You might be frustrated, wondering if you're in the right place. Here's the thing. Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean you're off course. Sometimes it's about waiting for the right time. Other times, it's about learning something along the way that will help you on your next step. The beauty of life is that it's not a race. There's no rush to get from point A to point B. In fact, some of the most valuable lessons come when you have to take a detour. That's when you learn about yourself, about what you truly want, and about what you're really capable of. You might be tempted to think that taking a detour is a setback, but I want to challenge you to see it as an opportunity. When you find yourself off the beaten path, you have a chance to explore new perspectives. You might discover a new passion, a new skill set, or a new direction altogether. You might meet people who change your life in ways you didn't expect. And you might gain experiences that shape who you are in a way that would never have happened if you stayed on the path you originally planned. The detour might just be exactly what you need to get to where you're supposed to go. I want you to think about the road less traveled. You know, the one that seems uncertain, the one that doesn't have a clear direction. It's easy to be scared of that road because it's unfamiliar. It feels risky, like you're stepping into the unknown. But if you stay stuck on the path that's already mapped out for you, you might never get the chance to grow in the ways that will truly transform your life. You might never find your true calling, the thing that makes you come alive. Sometimes we're afraid of taking a detour because we think it will put us behind. We're so focused on the destination that we forget to enjoy the journey. But here's the thing. It's not the destination that defines your life. It's the experiences along the way. You can take all the straight paths in the world, but if you don't learn and grow on the journey, what have you really gained? So I want you to change the way you look at setbacks. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, see them as opportunities to learn something new. When things don't go as planned, don't panic. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That mindset shift will change everything. You see, every detour you take is a chance to expand your horizons, to grow in ways that will make you better, stronger, and more prepared for whatever comes next. And when you look back on your journey, you'll realize that those detours weren't setbacks. They were the best parts of your story. I know it's tough to be patient when you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere. You might be looking around at everyone else and thinking, why does it seem like they're moving ahead while I'm stuck in the same spot? But here's the truth. Comparing yourself to others is the fastest way to get lost. Your journey is unique to you. It doesn't matter if someone else is ahead of you or if someone else is doing the exact thing you want to do. Their path is not yours. You're on your own timeline, and that's okay. Let's be real. Sometimes you don't know exactly where you're going, and that's okay too. You might be exploring different career options, testing different waters, figuring out what truly makes you happy. It's not about having all the answers right away. It's about taking action, being open to change, and allowing life to unfold. Sometimes your destination will become clear only after you've taken a few detours. The road will open up to you, but you've got to be willing to walk it even when you're not sure where it's leading. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned, but I want to remind you, the path you're on is not the only path. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to try new things, to test out different careers, to take that job that's outside your comfort zone, or go back to school. Don't be afraid to make a U-turn if you need to. Sometimes we hold on too tightly to the idea of one path because we think it's the only option. But I promise you, life has a way of opening up multiple possibilities if you're willing to explore them. Remember, your career is a journey, not a destination. It's full of moments that will teach you, challenge you, and shape you into the person you're meant to become. Don't be afraid of detours. Embrace them. They're not stopping you. They're helping you grow. And when you get to where you're going, you'll look back and see that every single twist and turn was necessary to get you to the place you're supposed to be. Follow your passion, not just a paycheck or someone else's expectations. In today's world, there's a constant pressure to make decisions based on money. We're told that if we just follow the money, everything will fall into place. We're bombarded with the idea that success is measured by how much we earn, how high our position is, and how many zeros are attached to our paycheck. But let me tell you something important. Money is not the ultimate measure of success. We all want financial stability, of course. But if you're chasing a career just because it pays well and you don't feel fulfilled, let me tell you, eventually that paycheck won't be enough. There will come a time when the money just can't fill the void. The truth is, no matter how much money you make, if you're not doing something you're passionate about, it's going to feel like work. And that's not living. That's just existing. I've seen so many people, especially young folks just starting out, make decisions based on the wrong reasons. I want a stable job with benefits. I want to make a lot of money. Those things are great, but what about your soul? What about your spirit? What about the thing that wakes you up in the morning with excitement? What about the thing that makes you feel alive? When you follow your passion, things shift. Passion ignites the fire inside you. It gives you the energy and drive to keep going even when times are tough. You see, when you're doing what you love, the grind doesn't feel as heavy. The obstacles don't feel as impossible. It's not about just getting through the day. It's about being fully present and engaged in the work that you're doing. And that's where true fulfillment lies. But here's where things get tricky. Following your passion doesn't always look the way people expect. Sometimes it doesn't come with a fancy title or a big paycheck. Sometimes it doesn't look like what your parents or friends or society says success should look like. But let me tell you, the best thing you can do for yourself is to stop trying to live up to other people's standards of success. You don't have to follow a conventional path. In fact, the most successful and happiest people often take paths that are unconventional. They create their own journey based on what they love to do. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds nice, but passion doesn't pay the bills. And you're right. Passion doesn't always pay the bills right away. That's the harsh truth. But when you start following your passion, you start building a life that's more than just about money. You start attracting opportunities that align with your purpose. You might not make a lot of money at first, but you're building something far more valuable than just a paycheck. You're building a career that brings you joy, growth, and long-term satisfaction. I've watched countless people take the leap. They've stepped away from what was safe and followed their heart. It's not easy. There's fear, there's uncertainty, there's doubt. But here's what's amazing about following your passion. Once you start doing it, doors begin to open. Opportunities begin to show up. You start meeting people who see the fire in you and want to support it. And the universe has a funny way of aligning things when you're truly doing what you love. Take the time to get to know yourself. Ask yourself, what do I love? What makes me feel alive? What would I do even if no one was paying me for it? Those are the questions that matter. If you can answer those questions and start taking steps in the direction of what excites you, you'll find that the rest falls into place. It's not going to happen overnight, but little by little, you'll start creating a life and a career that feels authentic and meaningful. Now, don't get me wrong, passion alone won't always be enough. You've got to have the skills, the work ethic, and the determination to make things happen. But when you're passionate about something, the grind becomes easier because it doesn't feel like work. You're doing something that brings you joy, and that's what keeps you going when the road gets tough. You have to trust the process. A lot of people give up on their passions because it doesn't happen fast enough. They want instant success. They want the big break right away. But life doesn't work like that. Success is built day by day, piece by piece. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's frustrating. But the key is to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening. There's also this idea that passion has to be this big, world-changing thing. We get this image in our heads of doing something grand, something that changes the world. But passion doesn't have to be some grand global mission. It could be teaching, helping others, creating something beautiful, solving a problem, or just doing something that makes you happy. Your passion doesn't have to be bigger than anyone else's. It just has to be true to you. Sometimes people get scared of following their passion because they think it won't be practical. Let me tell you this, practicality is overrated. I've seen people chase after careers that make sense on paper, careers that are supposed to be stable, secure, and respected. But at the end of the day, they're unhappy, unfulfilled, and burnt out. They're doing it because it makes sense to someone else, not because it makes sense to them. And that's the mistake. Following your passion isn't about rejecting practicality. It's about finding a balance. It's about blending your passion with the skills you have or are willing to develop. It's about figuring out how to make your passion sustainable so that you can make a living while also staying true to yourself. The reality is that there are plenty of ways to make a living from doing what you love. It just takes creativity, hard work, and persistence. The truth is that at the end of the day, you have to live with your choices. No one else is going to live your life for you. And when you're at the end of your journey, you're not going to regret the things you tried. You're going to regret the things you didn't try. You're going to regret not following your heart, not pursuing the things that made you come alive. So let me say this loud and clear. Follow your passion. Don't let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others stop you. Don't let money be the only thing that drives your decisions. Follow your heart, and when you do, everything else will begin to fall into place. It might not happen overnight, and it might not be easy, but I promise you, it will be worth it. We live in a world where we're constantly told to plan, to prepare, to get everything in order before we take the leap. We make lists, we write out goals, we research, and we get ready to move, but often we hesitate. We get stuck in the planning phase, caught in the trap of thinking we need to have everything figured out before we make a move. But here's the truth. You'll never have it all figured out until you take action. It's easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis. We tell ourselves, once I have the perfect plan, once I know exactly what I'm doing, then I'll go after it. But let me tell you, you can't wait for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. The perfect plan doesn't exist. The perfect job, the perfect opportunity, the perfect anything. Those things are illusions. The truth is, the only way to find out what works for you is to get out there and start doing something. And taking action doesn't mean you need to have everything planned out. It means you need to take that first step, even if it's small. You might not have a clear picture of where you're going, but that doesn't mean you should wait around until everything falls into place. You can't expect the path to appear before you if you're not willing to take the first step, even in the dark. The only way to get clarity is to move forward, even if you're not 100% sure of your destination. When you take action, you give yourself the chance to explore. You give yourself permission to try things, to step outside your comfort zone, to push the limits of what you thought you were capable of. When you sit back and wait for the right time, you're missing out on the opportunities that are right in front of you. You can't explore what's available if you're too afraid to move. And exploring, trying new things, and putting yourself out there, this is how you discover what you truly want, what you're good at, and where your passions really lie. Trying new things might seem like a risky venture, but it's actually one of the best ways to grow. We get so caught up in the idea that we need to do everything perfectly from the start that we forget the importance of the learning process. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, making mistakes is one of the most valuable ways to learn. When you try something new, it's not about whether you succeed or fail. It's about the lessons you take away from the experience. And if you never take that leap, if you never step out and try something new, you'll never get those lessons. You'll never know what you're truly capable of. We are all so afraid of failure, but let's be real. Failure is part of the process. The most successful people are the ones who failed the most. They didn't sit around waiting for the perfect moment to act. They failed, they got back up, and they kept moving. It wasn't the failure that stopped them. It was their ability to take action and keep moving forward that led them to success. When you take action, you not only learn from your mistakes, but you also discover new opportunities. Sometimes, when you take a risk and step into the unknown, you find something amazing that you never expected. Maybe it's a job that you never thought you'd be interested in, but once you try it, you realize it's the perfect fit. Maybe it's a passion project that turns into a career. Maybe it's a relationship or a connection that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. You never know what's out there until you explore it. And the only way to explore is to take that first step, to move, to take action. Here's the thing, life is full of uncertainty. No one has all the answers. No one knows exactly how things will turn out. But the only way to get closer to those answers is to take action. If you wait until everything is perfect, you'll miss out on all the experiences that could shape your future. You'll miss out on the chances to learn, to grow, and to find the opportunities that you never even imagined. Trusting the process is a big part of taking action. When you act, you put things into motion. But you also need to trust that things will work out as they're supposed to. The more you try, the more you learn about yourself and the world around you. It's not about forcing things to happen. It's about taking action, then trusting that each step will get you closer to where you're meant to be. Sometimes trusting the process means being patient with yourself. You might not see immediate results, and that's okay. Progress doesn't always happen overnight, and it's easy to get discouraged when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as you'd like. But trust me, every step, no matter how small, is moving you forward. Every time you take action, you're building momentum. Even if you can't see it, things are happening behind the scenes. The key is to keep moving forward, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Taking action also means staying committed to the journey, even when the road gets tough. When things get difficult, it's easy to want to give up, to stop trying, to sit back and wait for the right moment. But that's when you have to dig in your heels and keep going. Action is not always easy. Sometimes it's a struggle, but it's the struggle that shapes you, that strengthens you, that teaches you what you're made of. You have to trust that every experience, every challenge, and every success is part of the process. It might not look the way you expected, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable. Life is messy, and the process is rarely linear. You will take detours, you will face setbacks, and you will encounter challenges along the way. But those are all part of the journey. They're part of what makes you who you are and get you to where you're supposed to be. Taking action is not just about achieving a goal. It's about showing up for yourself, trusting that you're on the right path, and committing to the process. The more you try, the more you learn, and the more you grow. So stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect moment. The time is now. You have to take action to create the life you want. It's not about waiting for opportunities to come to you. It's about creating opportunities for yourself through your actions. You are in control of your journey. You can't predict every step, but you can control whether or not you take them. So explore, try new things, get out of your comfort zone. Trust that each action you take will bring you closer to the person you're meant to be and the life you're meant to live. The process is yours to create, and it starts with you moving forward.